Okay, so this video is going to be how to solve problems using Pythagoras' theorem. Now, Pythagoras' theorem is a geometry theorem all about right-angled triangles. And it basically states that if you know two sides of a right-angled triangle, you can calculate the third using this little formula that Pythagoras came up with. So let's have a little look at an example. So we are asked to calculate the size of this missing side x of this right angle triangle and give my answer to two decimal places. Well, Pythagoras' theorem tells me that x squared, or the square of the missing side, equals the sum of the square of the other two sides, or 5 squared plus 10 squared. Now, x squared I can work out now is equal to 25, which is 5 times 5, or 5 squared, plus 10 squared, which is 10 times 10, or 100. Now I know adding those two together, I get 125. So x squared equals 125. So to find x out, I need to square root my answer. So square root of 125. Okay, doing that on my calculator, I get 11.18 centimeters rounded to 2 decimal places, or 2 dp, like my question asks. Okay, so have a little go at the practice questions below. Okay, see if you can follow the procedure that I did. Okay, and I'll run through the answers in a moment. Okay, so let's just run through the answers then. So for question A, I wanted to calculate the value of x. Again, I'm calculating the longest side, which I know, when squared, equals the other two sides squared and added up. So I can tidy that right-hand side up a little bit, and I get 3 squared is 9, 11 squared, 121. Those add together to make 130. Then to find x out, all I need to do is square root my answer, 130, and I get, written to 2 decimal places, 11.40 centimeters to 2 dp. Okay, so for the second question, I need to actually use Pythagoras twice. Firstly, I need to use it to find this missing side here, which I'm just going to label x. And then I'm going to use that answer to find my value of y. So to start with, I know that x squared equals 5 squared plus 12 squared. So x squared equals, tidying this right-hand side up, I get 25 plus 144, which I know is 169. So my value of x must be the square root of 169, which is 13. So knowing that x is 13 centimeters, I can now use that value to find y. So I know that y squared equals 8 squared plus 13 squared. So tidying up that right-hand side, I get 64 plus 169, which I know equals 233. So y has to equal the square root of 233, which using the calculator to 2 decimal places is 15.26 centimeters. Okay, so I've gone through how to calculate the longer side on a right angle triangle. What happens when I'm given the longer side and I want to try and calculate one of the two smaller sides? Okay, so firstly, I'm just going to have a little look at Pythagoras' theorem. And he said that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, I want to make one of these a squareds or b squareds the subject of this formula. That can be easily done by just taking the other one away. So I can rearrange this formula to create a shorter side formula, which is a squared equals c squared minus b squared. So as you can see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to square the sides again, just like I did before, but I'm going to take away one of the smaller sides from the hypotenuse or longer side, and that will help me to get the shorter side. So in this case, I've got x squared, which is my smaller side, equals 10 squared minus 6 squared. So again, exactly the same as I've done before. X squared equals, tidying up this right-hand side, 10 squared is 100, minus 6 squared is 36. 100 take away 36 is 64. So x is going to be the square root of 64, which is 8 centimeters exactly. Okay, so for a shorter side, you're now taking away. All right, so have a little go at these questions down the bottom here. Okay, and I'll pause the video and then I'll go through the answers in a moment. Okay, so this first one, I have got y squared equals 25 squared minus 7 squared. So y squared, tidy up this right-hand side, I get 625 minus 49, which equals 576. So y must equal the square root of 576, which equals exactly 24 centimeters. Okay, so this next question is going to be very similar to the question that I had previously. Okay, I'm going to have to do Pythagoras twice. So first off, I need to find out this missing side here, which I've just labeled y. Then I'm going to use that to find the value of x. So first off, I know that y squared equals 41 squared, which is the hypotenuse. Take away the other shorter side, which is 40 squared. Okay, I can do all of that on my calculator now. So 41 squared minus 40 squared, okay, is going to be 81. Y equals the square root of 81, which equals 9 meters exactly. So now that I know y, I can use it to find x. Now watch out here, because if you notice that x is the larger side, is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to go back to adding to find my hypotenuse out. So I've got x squared equals 13 squared plus 9 squared. Again, I can use my calculator to work all that out straight away, which equals 250. So my answer for x is going to be the square root of 250, which equals 15.81 meters to 2 decimal places. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you to answer questions on Pythagoras' theorem. Just remember, if on your paper you see a right angle triangle, it's either going to be a case of a Pythagoras question or it could be trigonometry. So I recommend that you also have a little look at my trigonometry video to see what happens when angles are incorporated. Okay, so practice some exam questions on this and good luck.